Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special live show we've got going tonight, all about our high adventure bases and our 2026 treks. Believe it or not, Aaron, the way we say it is, the treks are filling up for 2026 already.
Yes, exactly. It's some folks might not be used to planning that far ahead, but that's kind of the nature of high adventure, and we're going to talk about why that is, Gina. The outdoors has been a part of scouting from the beginning, right? You can't have scouting without the outing, is what we've always said. And Cub Scouts from a very, very young age can go camping overnight, or can go to day camp and things like that. When they get older, Scouts, BSA, youth can spend a couple of nights maybe in a row outdoors, right? Tonight, we're talking about what we call high adventure, which, if in case you aren't familiar with that term, it's for, in general, older scouts, 12 or 13 and older, venturers, Sea Scouts, that kind of thing. And it is kind of, as the name indicates, it's kind of the next step beyond your summer camp experience, your weekend camp experience. There are a ton of high adventure options offered at Scouting America. We're going to get into all that. There's something for everybody, Gina. Spread across the country. There's a reason why these locations were chosen, and that's because these type of activities are very unique, specialized for these locations. It's very cool, and it's really exciting that just as an organization that we have this to offer our members. It's very, very cool. I look forward to telling folks about it over the next 30 minutes or so.
Yes, and hopefully you've gotten to tune into one of our high adventure base lives before, and if not, welcome. We're going to be breaking down every detail you need to know about high adventure bases, what they are, what are treks, who is eligible. If you do watch these live videos with us frequently, the high adventure bases, there are 4 of them. They offer a lot. They offer something for everybody, but we're really focusing in tonight. We're talking about kind of the roots of what these high adventure bases are for. We are talking about treks, and we're talking about treks in 2026. So, Aaron, explain it to me like I am brand new to scouting, maybe not even in scouting. And I'm like, what is a trek at a high adventure base? That sounds like another language to me.
Right. Yeah, it is for some folks. A lot of troops and crews make a trip to a high adventure base a part of their annual program. Like every summer, they go to a different high adventure base. A lot of them don't, and that's fine too. We're here to talk to, I think, both groups about the advantages of kind of working it into your annual program planning. It's a big trip, and that's why it's only available for older scouts. When we say trek, some of those treks are by foot with a backpack on. Some of those treks are by water in a canoe or something like that. Some of those treks might be through the snow on snowshoes or cross-country skis or things like that. Some of them are on bikes. You can do all that stuff in different parts of the country. And the term trek also can be used to describe, experiences like rock climbing and whitewater rafting and things like that you can do at one of our bases in West Virginia. There's a lot of cool stuff. The reason why we talk about it generally 18 months in advance is, we want people to be prepared, right? Because it is the next step beyond your average summer camp or weekend camp experience, right? It requires a certain level of physical fitness. You don't have to be a superstar athlete, right? But if you start planning now, you can be prepared in 2026 to go on one of these treks. And I think, Gina, you and I have both talked to quite a few scouts who have been on these treks, and I've talked to a lot of scouts and adults who have been on these treks. These are memories that these are memories of a lifetime, right? That kind of sounds cliche-ish, right? But it's an experience that will change you. It will change your life. It will change your perspective. It will increase your confidence. It will increase your leadership skills. I mean, it's just an amazing experience that really every scout should do at least once, I think, throughout their career as a youth in scouting, right?
Yeah, you put that really well. I'm glad you hit on how this is such like a core memory for anyone who's attended a high adventure base. And we talk to scouts all the time. We talk to veterans, adults who were scouts. They always bring up their trip to one of the high adventure bases. Again, there are 4. And so if you don't be afraid to ask any questions. Shout out to our viewers. There's a lot of you watching. Hey, Rob, thanks for tuning in. Ask your questions as we go. But if you're new to this, don't be afraid to ask. Think of summer camp, right? And then think you could actually do it throughout the year, right? And then it's like a very, very, very elevated summer camp that has resources behind it like you've never seen before. So you can take advantage. We call them treks, but it's a variety of adventures you can opt into that have all kinds of safety checks in place. You've got adult leadership involved. they're opportunities you really wouldn't get at a typical summer camp. So it's something that our older youth in Scouting America are invited to do, encouraged to do. There's a
And
fun we encourage you to take part in to be able to to make it to these places, because again, this is 4 high adventure bases that are, well above sea level to down to the sea. They all have unique landscapes, very, very cool. So and as Rob says, our troop has a group going to Northern Tier and another going to Philmont this summer. We're going to talk to both of those bases tonight. Last year they had 2 groups go to sea base. We'll be hitting sea base as well.
And and you compared it kind of to an elevated summer camp experience. That's a great analogy, I think, Gina. And again, we've all heard stories, and I've experienced it firsthand. When you send a kid to summer camp, they come back changed. My son did that. He went to summer. Actually, there's a picture of him from a long time ago. He went to
That's pre-summer camp.
That's pre-summer camp. Yes, he doesn't look like that anymore. When he came back, he was a different person, more confident, more willing to take care of himself, more eager to take care of himself. It was really interesting. The high adventure treks are kind of like that, but like you said, elevated. What a great word. It's a challenge for a lot of folks, but in a good way. It builds confidence, and just like everything else in scouting, they are set up to succeed. And if they make a mistake, there are people there to help out. So they're not what I would call dangerous, right? Even though they're challenging, they're not dangerous, right? There's, I think, an important distinction there, right?
Yeah, you're not going to be taking part in anything you're not fully prepared for. Exactly. And that's one of the cool things about these experiences.
If I could sum it up, just if I was stuck in an elevator with somebody for 15 seconds, I would say that it's a challenging outdoor experience that you are prepared to succeed in. You have all the support that you need. And Gina, we've talked to folks, again, we're talking about 2026. The 18 months or so leading up to that experience is also part of the experience. We've talked about that before, right? With fundraising and practice hikes and all the things you do to get ready for it. These are things when we talk about, people remember, oh yeah, I remember going all the practice hikes. I remember doing fundraising.
Yes.
All of that is part of the experience and part of the reward of successfully executing a trek and coming back and being like, yeah, I did it. No big deal. I hiked to the top of this mountain. I whitewater rafted through class 4 rapids or whatever it was. It's really a really cool opportunity that we have to offer.
Yeah, it's the time to financially and physically prepare for these. We are about to head to our first base in just a second, but again, for any of the newcomers or people who are experiencing scouting for the first time, when you see scouts outside the grocery store selling popcorn or meat sticks, or maybe at Christmas selling Christmas trees, and they're super happy to be out there, and maybe it's super hot and they just still have a grin on their face. The reason is because they are often raising money to go to a high adventure base. So I think that'll make more sense to you as we go forward with this. Stephen asked a great question. Will this webinar be available as a recording later for those who couldn't attend tonight? Yeah, let's say this at the top of the show. So Stephen's watching on YouTube. On YouTube, this video will stay up as far as we know forever, and on Facebook for I think 30 days. So after tonight's show, after it concludes, we encourage you to take this link, send it out to your unit, send it out to your parents, say, hey, we're trying to fill spots for 2026. Who's interested? And we'll talk more about how that works and what spots are available in just a minute, because believe it or not, 2026 fills up this early.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And there's a reason for that. We're going to get into that a little bit. Gina, I am excited. Are we ready to visit our first base?
Let's go to the summit, right?
Let's go to the Summit Bechtel Reserve.
The summit is going to be big in 2026 for a number of reasons.
Yes, it is. Yeah, the Summit Bechtel Reserve is our newest high adventure base. And by new, I mean 10 or 12 years old, something like that. I've been around long enough, Gene. I remember when we only had 3 national high adventure bases, but we have 4. Summit, do you read us? Can you read us?
Yes, we do. How's it going?
It's doing great. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell the folks how things are going out there.
Of course. Well, it's a nice spring evening for us. My name is Braxton. I'm one of the program managers here at the Summit that delivers so many great programs to all of our scouts.
Braxton, we are so glad to get to see you again. It's been cool because we've gotten to connect with you a number of times over the years. What is going to be special about 2026 at the Summit?
Well, you already know about the Jamboree in 2026. You kind of hinted towards that just a little bit. But we want to make sure people know that we have lots of programs still happening even before the Jamboree happens. So we do all of our trek programs. We have just a little bit shorter season, but it's not that much shorter. So if you really want to come out and experience a trekking program like you were talking about, where it's that elevated experience for all these scouts out here, this is a great opportunity to come out before the Jamboree.
Can I ask you the hard question, Braxton? Why would somebody go to, choose a trek over going to Jamboree, or choose it in addition to Jamboree? What's the sell?
Well, the first sell is the Jamboree is first a giant convention. There is too much to do at a Jamboree. There is all these types of vendors, all these types of people to meet, thousands of scouts to meet, shows to go to, as well as program. But our trekking programs are dedicated to specific styles of trekking. So, for example, we have the ATV trek, which is going to be only ATVing the whole week, and you would not get a chance to do that at a Jamboree because Jamboree is too awesome to be able to go do ATVs. In fact, our ATV program is so popular, we've already sold it out for 2026. So we've been trying to figure out ways to bring out more ATV programs and include weekend adventures that a troop can come out and enjoy a day or two of ATVs in the fall or spring because we just have so much popularity in the summer.
That is awesome. All 4 of our National High Adventure bases are located in a specifically chosen location. We didn't just pick a random spot on a map. The summit is in West Virginia in the background, in the backyard of a national park. What's the national park, Braxton?
It is the New River Gorge National Park and Preserve.
New River Gorge National Park and Preserve. That's not a coincidence. We chose that spot because it's amazing. It is incredible. Can you just talk about the area a little bit, Braxton? There's a river, obviously. There are some rocks that you can climb on. Just talk about the area in general, the forest and everything like that that's out there.
Yeah, absolutely. The river actually wasn't a national park, more than 5 years ago. It is
Right.
one of the newest ones, and we saw that kind of when we were planning out these sites. So we knew that this would be a fantastic spot to go to. So we also took advantage of that with one of our river trek programs, where it's 5 days of whitewater rafting. You go over 50 miles on the river, and we have trained staff here as well as partnered outfitters that go all the way from the beginning to the very end, training you how to read the water, how you can actually learn a new skill, and how maybe you can invite some friends in the future to go out and try it again. But the River Trek program is continuously growing, as I'm sure every high adventure base has. We continually sell out or are trying to find ways to sell out. And we have added, more and more and more boats. So we highly recommend to go check out the River Trek. It is a unique trek in Scouting America, and you will definitely not forget it.
So we only have a few more minutes with you, Braxton. For everybody watching, just a reminder, if you want to learn more, you want to sign up for updates, or you're ready to start looking at trek times, Scouting America /national-high-adventure-bases/adventure-treks. If you don't remember what I just said, guys, it's at the bottom of the screen, so you can check that out right now. So Braxton, for our newcomers to scouting, new families, new scouts, why high adventure? Why would they choose this over, their local camp, perhaps?
Well, as you said, high adventure is an elevated experience. Not every single place in the country can do it because it takes so much effort to do. So while you go to council camps and you enjoy the traditional base camps, it is worth the effort to go to any of the 4 high adventure camps. In fact, the summit has, as being one of the newest ones, we've tried to find ways to introduce younger scouts to high adventure so they can get stepped into it to go to more extreme or more intense high adventure. And 2 of our programs really cater to that. One is our pack and paddle program, where it's a hybrid between a little bit of rafting and a little bit of hiking right on the New River Gorge in that national park. And the reason we designed that is to kind of introduce you to trekking with a backpack, but you're not carrying the backpack the whole week. It's giving you a little bit of a taste. And in fact, because it's becoming so popular, for 2026, we have just announced, actually as of today, that we're bringing another trekking program, another arrival day for the pack and paddle. So basically almost doubling or close to doubling the pack and paddle activities that we offer here. So that is a really great experience to get, your troops into high adventure if they don't quite know what high adventure is yet. And then the other experience that we offer is the summit experience. And that is kind of what I call the a la carte of everything that we have here at the site when it comes to ziplining, climbing, kayaking, as well as shooting sports activities and different variety of activities. And that one we actually start at age 13 specifically to make sure that we allow scouts and troops that have a little bit younger groups to actually come and enjoy the summit as a new high adventure trek, and then take that experience and go to another one, a more intense one, maybe the river trek, or go out to Sea Base or Philmont to enjoy something that they do that's even more intense, or fully backpacking, stuff like that. And then finally, we do have one more trek, is that it's called the Marksman Program, and it's unique for us. It's a whole week of shooting sports activities. So you go all the way from rifle shooting, shotgun, and archery as well. And our staff are specifically trained to actually teach you the science, not just the actions of doing it. So when we want to bring our youth in the outdoors, we want to learn what they want to do. We want them to take it back and actually teach their people what to do. So we introduced the Marksman Program to have this week-long experience. And because of that, we actually are introducing a 2026 promotional for our Summit Experience program and our Marksman program. And it's in the 2026 in June, let me make sure I get the right date, 14th, the week of June 14th. We are keeping the same price as if it was in 2025. So that is only a 1 week option that we're offering in June 14th of 2026, but that's for all of our Summit Experience and all of our Marksman programs, especially if you don't quite know what high adventure is yet. These are great programs to get started and then make a great tradition to go bouncing back and forth between the groups or come back to try different treks.
Okay, Summit Experience and Marksman Program, 2025 pricing for that specific week. So write that down, talk to your unit, see if you're interested. How long will that pricing be offered, just till it fills up?
Just for that 1 week, the June 14th week in 2026.
So amazing. Now, Aaron, did you notice Braxton's Zoom background?
I did notice that. It almost looks like he's like in front of some sort of amazing wilderness or
Sun
something.
is setting in the background.
Yeah, this is our wonderful spring backcountry we have going on. If you come to the summit, we're basically kind of in a bowl. And so you can see all the wonderful tree line around. And if you go into the national park, you're in a valley. So you get to see the wonderful waterfalls, the rapids, as well as the very famous New River Gorge Bridge.
Okay, now I do see that it actually is a simulation. I thought it was the real thing. It looks amazing. I need to copy that for myself. Amazing, lots of good info. What have we missed from? We barely scratched the surface. We don't have time to talk everything that we need to at each of these bases.
Yeah, Braxton, before we let people go, is there anything else before we let you go, excuse me, is there anything else that you want the people to know about the Summit Reserve?
Yeah, I already went through all the main high adventure programs that we offer here, but as a lot of the high adventure bases, we offer more than even just the treks. We have weekend adventures throughout the spring and fall to give you a taste of high adventure, as well as scout camps and family adventure camps and many different options to bring the whole family out to high adventure.
The summit is absolutely a wonderland. Thank you so much for your time, Braxton. You know, we talked a little bit about water at the summit. We're going to go to another high adventure base that features quite a lot of water. See you, Braxton. Yeah, water features, so to speak. You get the pun, Aaron?
I do get the pun, yes, and aquatic activities. You know, speaking of iconic scouting activities, right? Swimming has been a part of scouting from the beginning, but Sea Base, really, what an incredible hub of aquatic activities there. Sea Base, do you read us, Sea Base?
We do. Can you hear us?
Yes, another really cool background. Where are you?
We are at in our administration building at the foot of our museum. So you walk up those stairs and we have a bit of museum, but that mural was painted for us as we opened this building several years ago.
Very cool. Nice. Let's give the folks an overview of Sea Base and what they have to offer. Sea Base is located, there's a couple of different locations right down in the Florida Keys with several different options. I know there's sailing. I know there's scuba diving, the Out Island Adventure. I did that for one night, one time, Gina. I made it. I'm not sure, I think the scouts do it for more than one night, but tell us about, just give us an overview of what's happening at Sea Base these days.
Absolutely. Lots of great adventures. Obviously, we operate here in the Florida Keys. We also operate in the U.S. Virgin Islands and the Bahamas. So lots of great opportunities. We have roughly 18 different adventures. We have multi-adventures if you want a little bit of sailing, if you want a little bit of paddling, if you want a little bit of fishing, all wrapped together in one extremely exciting experience. It is a multi-adventure in every sense of the word because you get a different pinnacle experience absolutely every single day. Additionally, at the Britain Environmental Center, and let's start there, we have a fishing program where it's fishing all day, every day, other than when you're snorkeling or touring the historic Key West area. And then at the Britain Environmental Center, we also have the Out Island program. So you paddle 5.6 miles out on a Polynesian war canoe to Munson Island, and then you live aboard that island for the course of your week. Every day is a different adventure. You go kayaking through the mangroves. You go deep sea fishing. You go snorkeling at Lou Key in the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary. Every day is special. Every day is different. In addition to that, we have the Keys Adventure program, which is a multi-adventure. It's a smattering of everything that we do wrapped into one program. The primary difference is every night you're in an air-conditioned dormitory rather than in the heat of the Florida Keys. So that's what we offer at the Britain Environmental Center here in Isla Mirada, which is where I am now. We have all of our sailing programs, all of our scuba programs, and we also have an amazing Keys Adventure program here as well, and a Keys Adventure sailing program. So want to talk a little bit about the Keys Adventure sailing program. It is half the week doing all of the amazing things that you would do in Keys Adventure. So paddling, fishing, snorkeling, different adventure every day. And then you spend the last half of your week living aboard a sailboat in the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary. On top of that, we have the Coral Reef Sailing Program, which is crew size 6 to 8. And then we have our Sea Exploring Program, which you can bring a crew of up to 20 individuals aboard the same vessel, setting sail, again, in the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary. And then on top of that, we have all of our amazing scuba programs. We have a certification class and course for individuals that are not yet certified, but they want to become certified and learn to breathe underwater. So that is our certification program. And then we have an adventure program for those individuals that have completed the certification that want to take the next level. And then on top of that, then we have the Scuba Advanced Marine Exploration Program, which is kind of the third tier. You learn all about the underwater wilderness, the amazing environment of the Florida Keys. You learn all about coral and coral restoration. And depending on water temperatures, you're actually able to take part in coral restoration as part of that program. And then lastly, we have a scuba live aboard program where you move aboard two catamaran sailboats. And you stay aboard those vessels for the course of your adventure, sailing in the Florida Keys from reef to reef and wreck to wreck, getting a different experience and a different dive spot every single day. So that's what we have here in the Florida Keys. And then in the Bahamas, we have an amazing sailing program. The Bahamas where we operate are in the Abaco. It's known as the Family or Friendly Islands. It's a safe program. It's a place that I take my family as often as I possibly can. You set sail in the Sea of Abaco, which is a protected sailing water, and you can bring 6 to 8 individuals, 10 to 12 individuals, or up to 20 to live aboard the boat. And then our last program area is in the U.S. Virgin Islands. You set sail, fly directly into the U.S. Virgin Islands in St. Thomas. You board your vessel and you circumnavigate St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, which is the island is a national park. So you're pulling into beaches that are just absolutely incredible, not crowded at all. And then there are amazing hikes. Some of the best hikes that we have available to us in Scouting America is in the U.S. Virgin Islands National Park, where you get to hike up to amazing waterfalls in the middle of the jungle, see petroglyphs from the Siboney that lived there years and years and years and years ago, and learn about the amazing history of the U.S. Virgin Islands. So lots of different programs, and how I would pretty much put them all together is it's paradise, right? So we operate our winter program. All of our traditional summer programs are offered during the winter. Same thing with spring. So we have one of our busiest springs going on right now, and we have young people from all over the country that have been with us in February, March, and April. And one of the really neat things about Seabase that I would tell you is often we look at temperatures across the country where our crews are coming from. And there's often up to 100-degree temperature difference in the month of February for those crews when they come down. So they're leaving and it's 5 degrees or 8 degrees or 12 degrees or 25 degrees. And they get here and it's a balmy 75 or 85 degrees. And they're able to take part in the full adventure that we have planned for them.
I have a problem, which is that I could never pick a trek. Every time you described it, I was like, that sounds awesome. No, that sounds awesome. No, that's what I'd want to do. Just amazing. We are putting that URL up at the bottom of the screen. Your Seabase is so chock full of adventures. We spent the whole time just covering what's out there. But head to this URL if you want to just stay in touch, if you want to learn more, if you are ready to sign up for a trek in 2026. We have a great question, probably the last question before we got to let you go, but I think it's an important one. It's a good reminder for everybody out there. You know, your kids are only the right age to take part in these as a scout for so long. So like, don't hesitate. Don't let, you know, oh, we're going to Jamboree, we can't swing this. There's only a few years that they're going to have chances to do this. So the Lizard is saying, if my son's troop chooses not to attend an adventure, but he wants to go, is he able to sign up on his own? For example, Sea Base, it sounds like he's interested in. Megan B chimed in and said, I've been told there's a message board for high adventure treks where scouts can find a unit to tag along with. I think this is true. Is there any other context we want to add for Sea Base on how maybe contingents go?
Sure. Let me just briefly tell you about who's eligible to attend. First of all, you have to be at least 12 years old for most of our programs. So, and that is a little bit different about Sea Bases. We have adventures that are specific for 12-year-old individuals that can come with the rest of their crew. So, and that is virtually all of our adventures except for scuba and then our offshore programs, including the Out Island program, right, is where you go live on the island. But if you are interested in joining together with a crew, then you can go to Scout Connections on our website, and then you can join a crew that is looking to fill out their crew size. Because at Sea Base, we don't have individual trek programs, we have crew programs, and you can join in with one of those other crews.
And I would argue, I would suggest, you know, that while that is certainly a wonderful option, you know, go and talk to your senior patrol leader, talk to your scoutmaster. If your troop doesn't go to these things on a regular basis, now's the time to start the conversation. Hey, what do we have planned for 2026? You never know. You might be creating a new tradition for your troop or your venturing crew or your Sea Scout ship or whatever.
Or very often your scoutmaster says, no, we're not going, but hey, my buddy leads this other unit and they are going and they've got a spot. So yeah, great, guaranteed.
And one thing to point out at all the National High Adventure bases, most of our crew sizes are 6 to 8 individuals, right? So that's 2 adults and that's 4 kids, right? So if we can get 4 young people interested in going to Sea Base Northern Tier Summit Philmont, and then we have 2 adult leaders that are willing to go and share in the adventure, we have a crew, right? It doesn't need to be 20 or 30 people. We don't have to go through the rigmarole of trying to find lots and lots of folks. Go to Northern Tier, go to Sea Base, go to Philmont, go to the Summit Bechtel Reserve, and the adventure is already set up for you. The only thing that you need to do is get here, right? And if you have 4 young people that are excited and you have 2 adults that are willing to take some vacation time away and invest in those young people, then you have a crew and you have an opportunity to go to a National High Adventure base.
Fantastic. Well, again, we're putting this URL up. We have run out of time with Sea Base, which is such a shame. We could talk to you forever. Sign up is all I can say. Like, you will find the way to raise the money. I know that you're probably like, easy for me to say. People, the path is paved for you. We're talking 2026. You've got some time. You've got an avenue to raise the money. Absolutely. Thank you so much for talking with us. I'm sure we'll have you back on as we get a little closer to summer too.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for joining us in Paradise in the Florida Keys, and have a wonderful evening.
Not as nice as y'all's evening out there in Florida.
Yeah, our evening is not as good as theirs. That's for sure. Although the weather certainly is nice here in North Texas.
It's
not
fine.
like it is in the Florida Keys.
Yeah, North Texas. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's the Florida Keys and there's North Texas, and then there's our next location. I'm sure it's just miserable there on this April 23rd at the iconic Philmont.
We are halfway through our tour of the 4 National High Adventure bases, number 3 on the list. You've probably heard of Philmont Scout Ranch. You at least know something about it. Philmont, come in. Do you read us?
We do. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can. How are things looking out there at Philmont in New Mexico? I'm sure the weather is perfect there as well.
It's a beautiful spring day today. It's pretty awesome here at Philmont.
Yeah, I think Philmont, you know, kind of the pinnacle of a lot of the scouting experiences. That's what I hear a lot from folks who have been there before. You know,
Philmont is the Pinewood Derby of adventure bases. You know, we hear about scouting, people talk about Pinewood Derby. We talk about high adventure bases, people talk about Philmont. It's just iconic.
Yeah, can you guys give us just an overview for the folks who might not know what happens at Philmont Scout Ranch? What are the opportunities out there?
Sure. So as we know, Philmont is one of our 4 national high adventure bases. I would say our primary focus here at Philmont is on backpacking programs. But along with that, our scouts hike from camp to camp, take part in high adventure activities like rock climbing or spar pole climbing, or doing search and rescue activities or living history programs. I think that's one thing that sets us apart, our living history opportunities here at Philmont.
This picture is just your average crew, right? So cool. Yeah. So there are you've hit on what Philmont is known for, but there's all kinds of things, like there are all kinds of different treks to take part in the backcountry of Philmont. What are some favorites?
Oh, that's a loaded question. It depends who you ask, to be honest with you. We like to tell folks that hike where history was made. We've got different camps, whether, as like Philip said, they can climb, or you can go to a railroading camp, or you can go to a shooting camp. Just any number of different experiences, and crews go from place to place. And a question we get a lot is, we can backpack anywhere. Why should we come to Philmont? And I think it's very important. We like to tell folks, hike where history was made, and you referenced it in the opening tonight. I thought it was really, really good. Come to where there's a safety net. We've got a team of folks behind you to make your experience meaningful and memorable. It's a lot more than just a backpacking trip. Come enjoy it at Philmont.
Yeah, I think for folks who maybe don't have a lot of experience backpacking, maybe they don't have a lot of experience in the backcountry, it can seem intimidating. The great thing about Philmont Scout Ranch, along with all of our other properties, is they make it doable for everybody. Now, yes, you may have to prepare for it, and I would love to get your thoughts on the preparations leading up to Philmont. I think, do you agree that most units do sort of preparation hikes, 6 months, 12 months out? Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, definitely. So I would say starting at least a year ahead of time is a good thing to do, and you'll start to elect your crew leadership, and we call them shakedown hikes to help prepare for your Philmont experience. We also help prepare our crews by doing monthly live streams with different topics each month to make sure that they're ready and prepared for their experience here at Philmont.
I think that is super cool. You all have done a good job embracing technology and always just making sure that I think, who is coming out to visit Philmont is well prepared. So that's super cool. Are there some other elements of the 2026 season that are unique?
For the 2026 season, well, we continue to reopen some backcountry camps that we had to close after the fire in 2018. And so we're excited about that. Here in 2025, actually, we'll be opening up 2 to 3 more backcountry camps and offering some programs that we haven't been able to do in a little bit. We're always updating our itineraries to explore different parts of the ranch. But Matt, I think you wanted to talk a little bit about some cool things happening in 2026, right?
We do have some things we're proud to announce tonight. This is talking to different groups here. The first one for the leaders, for any new reservation that comes in, new reservation that arrival date after July the 15th, we're going to hold the 2025 prices from now until the end of July. So you've got a couple of months there to talk about it as a troop committee and put it together. Sign up. We're going to give you the 2025 prices for all arrival dates from mid-July to the end of the season. Something else we're doing for this course, we've talked to a lot of folks, and I think you said it very well in the beginning. A lot of folks are just afraid. It's hard to take that first step into high adventure. So we do what we call a Philmont Advisor Skills School, or what we call the PASS course. We're going to offer that course free for adults who may need that little bit more training, a little bit more comfort to go across the country with a bunch of scouts. And the neat thing about 2026 is starting this fall, we're taking that course on the road. So we might be in your council or somewhere close to your council. We're very, very excited about that. And the last one, you go to our website today and click a button and have Philmont come to your troop meeting. We're signing up for troop visitations where we're doing Zoom meetings where we can answer your questions directly, talk to your parents, talk to your troop or crew or ship committee, or whoever you want us to talk to. Philip and I will talk to everybody every night. So a lot of exciting things for 2026, and thanks for letting us share them
So y'all just live right there in the museum, ready to talk to whoever is ready, right?
They're basically
Home of the
answering-
National Scouting Museum, right?
No, I love that y'all do this. I think that these are some really exciting ways to reach out to people. I love that you will meet with, adults who are ready, that just you're offering for free the course for adults to go out and like actually know what they're signing up for, because I think that is the fear for so many people. And, just to speak to the audience here, new scout parents, what have you, you can do it. You absolutely can do it. So many people have done this before you. Don't let fear keep you from saying, hey, I'll take the youth out there for sure.
Yeah, and those visits that you mentioned, that's a great opportunity. Again, some troops go to Philmont every summer, like it's built into their program, and that's great. But if you're not one of those, visit with these two guys right here and let them tell you why you should be doing that. Make it a part of your plan. Every year you can send a different group to Philmont. Hey, before we let you guys go, I do want to ask you one thing. In some of those photos we looked at, it looked like some folks were dressed in like Old West style clothing. Can you talk a little bit about that? I think you call it interpretive history, right?
Yeah, that's part of our living history program. So one of the unique experiences when you're on a trek here at Philmont is you backpack from backcountry camp to backcountry camp, and about half of those camps are living history camps. So you will immerse yourself, whether it's a 1910 logging camp or an 1840s fur trapper camp or going out to a 1920s railroading camp. And the staff there are going to take part in activities with the scouts that relate to that time period and share their story. And a lot of that history happened here on the property that is now Philmont Scout Ranch. We are so unique in all of the history that has come together in this place that is Philmont.
Everybody watching, make sure you take advantage of that promotional pricing. If you have a little bit of flexibility in your schedule to be able to jump in and fill those few spots that are available for 2026, do it. That is a real deal and a steal. Maybe take that to your unit and that will sell everybody on, hey, let's do this. Again, it's not like you have to find 20 scouts to go with. You can find the right crew for sure. Is there anything else that we want to cover before we let you guys go? I know time flies when you're having a great talk with Philmont.
One thing we do want to mention, we talk about leaders not feeling comfortable and how we're identifying that. Philmont has a very robust scholarship program. Our benefactor, Wade Phillips, wanted to make a very good point that never let finance get in the way of a high adventure experience. A lot of troops and crews and ships don't raise money, but at the same time, there are opportunities for every person to get to Philmont, regardless of financial position. We want you here at Philmont. One thing we will throw out real quickly, we do have a lot of individual programs. So maybe you are in a unit where the whole group cannot come. There are a whole listing of different individual programs. We could literally sit here all night talking about the different things at Philmont, but visit our website. It's all laid out. Sign up for a visit from Philmont to come to your unit. We'll go over it in more detail with you.
Or if you're looking to get on a trek similar to the program that Seabase has, we do have a trek match program where we can get people linked up with a crew that's already coming to Philmont. So we're happy to work with you on that as well.
Again, very cool resources. Aaron and I just live on the live videos as well, so we'll be just booking some troop visitations just so we have somebody to talk to. No, absolutely, we won't abuse it for that, but super cool you're offering these things. Everybody, don't forget, tag somebody in the comments if you are watching on YouTube or Facebook who needs to see this, who may be interested. And again, we're going to put the URL up on the screen for you to book a trek, get more information, or just start receiving emails so that you can start keeping this in mind. Again, we're talking 2026, so you have time to plan this. We're not talking this coming summer. We're talking a summer away from the summer. Philmont, thank you all so much for your time. Hopefully we can have you all back to talk about staffing and family adventure camp. There's just so many other elements. Philmont, again, iconic, unforgettable, and life-changing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aaron, we got a comment I wanted to read from Sabrina. Thank you for the information about Seabase. My son and I will go to Seabase with the crew next summer. We're looking forward to it. We are going to Northern Tier this summer with the crew in June. Perfect segue, right? Because we had just talked to Seabase, then we talked to Philmont, and now we're going to talk to
the final leg of our tour of the 4 national high-end bases. It's our friends up north, Gina, in Minnesota. Northern Tier is really cool because they offer really iconic winter programs and also really iconic summer programs. And unlike at Seabase, the weather there is quite different in January than it is in July and August. So it's a completely different experience. Let's bring on our friends from Northern Tier. Do you read us?
Hey,
Well, I appreciate that introduction. Thank you so much. Yeah, it is a beautiful time of year up here in Northern Tier. We are finally getting that fresh, crisp spring air.
what's the temperature?
Right now, it is slowly dropping from 49 to lower, but we had a beautiful day right around 60 today.
Whew.
That's perfect for camping, Gina. That's perfect
Yeah,
camping
true.
It
temperature.
is. And the bugs haven't come out quite just yet. But Sabrina, I got to say, we're looking forward to having you up here at Northern Tier this summer. And it's going to be a great experience to get you ready to go down to Sea Base next.
So we always love talking to Northern Tier. Y'all always really show us what you're working with. You're always showing us outdoors. We really appreciate it. We get the sense everybody up there is working hard and really just loves the outdoors. And I feel like it is just like, I think it's a sell for Scout. It's one of the most rugged places I think that you can visit. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. With Northern Tier, we really like to tell our scouts coming up that we are true wilderness here at Northern Tier. You can't find a more remote or rugged outdoor adventure pretty much anywhere. And just so those who aren't familiar with Northern Tier, we are one of the most pristine paddling destinations in North America, but we also do offer Scouting America's premier cold weather camping program and cold weather leader training program. So we have a lot of different things going on up here throughout the entire year. And don't be afraid of winter. It is a fun time where we do a ton of different cool activities. But before we get into winter, I did want to take a little time to talk about our paddling trips. If you guys wouldn't mind hopping to slide 3 so we can have that cool photo up there, I'd really appreciate it. All right. So what does it mean when we say true wilderness? Well, wilderness is our bread and butter here at Northern Tier. We specialize in going completely off grid where there are no roads, no infrastructure, and it's just you and your crew out in the beautiful Boundary Water Canoe Area Wilderness, either that or the Crown Lands up and around Atikokan, Ontario. Now, with our programs, we have plenty of different options that'll suit your needs for you and your crew, from our basic 7-night paddling trip and our 10-night paddling trips here in Ely up to a 14-day OA wilderness voyage that'll take you a little bit further out and give you a couple of different opportunities to do some service as well. Now, even beyond that, we do offer a few individual programs up here at Northern Tier. So if your scouts don't quite have the numbers to get a full crew together, we still have an opportunity that'll bring you up to the beautiful Northwoods to experience high adventure. Now, with our different canoe expeditions, if we wouldn't mind going to the next slide there, we do have a wide variety. Now, 100% self-supported. That was something I really wanted to talk about this evening. What that means with 100% self-supported is, say you're going out for a 14-day OA voyage. That means for those 14 days, you're going to depart our base camp with everything you need to be successful, including 14 days worth of food. Now, I know that sounds intimidating at first, but it is a unique and awesome experience where the scouts who come out of that really just have nothing but a smile on their face, and you can see the shift in confidence. They are a completely different person than when they went out on the water. Now, a little more, if you guys wouldn't mind going to the next slide, I just want to show this map real quick. Now, if you take a look at this map, you can see where our 2 main locations are. We're situated just outside of Ely, Minnesota and Atikokan, Ontario, which gives us a really great opportunity to explore the entirety of the Northwoods up here. And as you can see on that map, the lighter shaded areas are going to go ahead and be our waterways, our different paddling areas. And they are all pretty much interconnected. It is a really unique opportunity up here. Now, I do want to talk a little more about our Charles L. Somers base from Ely, Minnesota. It is where we house and host all of our U.S. experiences going into the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness. It is also home to all of our individual programs, which we'll talk a little bit more about here in a second. Now, I did want to talk to you about our different Canadian opportunities. Up in Canada, we have our Don Rogert Canoe Base, which is home to all of our different Canadian experiences. This could be anything from a standard 8-night trek to going out and doing a little more service with a 10-day trek as well. But it is a unique opportunity for those scouts looking to go international and have some fun across the border. Now, with our individual programs too, we have a lone voyage program, which is open to all scouts ages 14 to 18, and for those who are 13 and having completed the 8th grade. And with that, you will be put into a melting pot crew with scouts from across the country, and you'll have that same experience where you get to go out and paddle the boundary waters. Also, we do have our Order of the Arrow Wilderness Voyage, which is an awesome experience for those in the OA, and also our most affordable option to get up to Northern Tier.
Sorry to interrupt, but I just want to clarify because I think this is huge. So if somebody is watching and they have a scout who wants to go to a high adventure base and they don't have a unit to go with, they can sign up for the Lone Voyager program.
Absolutely. Yeah, we highly encourage it. So for all of y'all out there who don't quite have a group together yet, or you can't convince a couple of other scouts to join you, feel free to apply. You can find that information on our website, www.intier.org.
Thank you for calling that out. We hear that all the time. So this is the perfect solution for that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys. Now that was kind of a great segue to talk a little bit more about some of our other offerings up here. You know, we don't just offer individual programs, but we do offer autumn adventures as well. Now our autumn adventures, we are looking to grow that and really get a lot more participation. We have a wide variety of activities that you can participate, and the cooler weather is hard to beat. If y'all have ever been to Northern Tier before, you know the bugs can be brutal. The mosquitoes up here are fun to deal with in the summer, but in the autumn, they conveniently disappear, allowing for some really incredible paddling trips where you don't have quite as many headaches. We also do offer our Get Your Feet Wet programs. For those who have younger scouts who are a little bit too young to participate in high adventure, Get Your Feet Wet is actually an opportunity for scouts 11 and up to come up to Northern Tier and participate in a cabin-based program. You can get out on the water, still participate in some fishings and see some cool sights, but it is an introductory level program for those younger scouts. And we are also offering some adult trips coming up here this fall as well. So if, say, your scouts are in school, but the adult leaders in your troop have some opportunity to get away, feel free to get a group together and come on up. We would love to outfit you and send you out into the boundary waters to have a great scouting time out there. Now, with Northern Tier, we do provide all of the equipment needed for any and all expeditions, with a few exceptions. We provide all specialized canoe packs, tripping canoes, and crew cooking equipment. And over the winter, we actually outfit almost all of your gear except for what you need to wear directly on your body. So that means we give you guys winter jackets, fleece layers, wind layers, and the only thing you have to worry about is that base layer of clothing for our winter program. But speaking of winter, let's go ahead and talk about our winter expeditions a little bit. We do have our UPIC program as well as our holiday stay, but with our UPIC program, it's all based out of Ely, Minnesota. And as I had just mentioned before, we do provide all the gear and equipment needed for that. Now, it does give you a really unique opportunity to travel on the frozen lakes up here, which I don't know if anyone can guess, but those lakes can get up to 25 to 30 to even 40 inches, depending on your winter, of just ice. But it gives you an awesome experience where you can go out. You can ice fish, ice spear even, do some dog sledding programs, ice skating, cross-country skiing, broom ball, and so much more. Some of those photos on this slide just highlight a few of our program offerings here at Northern Tier. Also, we do offer our Build Your Own Adventure. With our Build Your Own Adventure, you can customize your stay at Northern Tier with the amount of time you want to spend here. So say you're from the South and you're a little bit more hesitant about experiencing some true winter, you can take a little bit of a shorter trip up here. So for my folks down in Texas, you can limit your exposure to the cold. But if you are feeling a little more up to it, you can customize that to whatever your desires are.
Hey, honestly, when I make it to Northern Tier, I'm going all in. Just for the record, I want to, like that'll be my only chance to ice fish and dog sled. I'm going full cold, but this is pretty cool to know that there actually is, you can spend a night in a cabin when you get there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm really glad to hear that. We always love people who are just fired up and bring the thews to our program up here. And I'll tell you what, the dogs love it when you are excited too. They can feed off that energy.
It's honestly unreal that the dog sledding exists. And I honestly don't know if the whole scouting community realizes you could go to Northern Tier and take part in a dog sledding track. I imagine those fill up really fast. I'm sure you're about to get there.
They do. No, but I'm really glad you mentioned that. Thank you. So with our mushing programs up here at Northern Tier, they do fill up incredibly quick. So we always recommend on registration day, you get online before registration even opens, so that way you're prepared when it does. But let's talk about those mushing programs a little bit. We've got a couple of different options, with our most basic and introductory level being our mushing camp, which is where we teach you the basics of how to be a musher, how to ride a sled, and how to interact with the dogs and handle the dogs. So for those of y'all who have never been on a dog sled, this is the program for you, where you can get that first introduction and become a little more comfortable with it. Now, if we've ever had anyone who has dog sledded before, we really encourage our dog treks or our remote mushing treks. These just give you an opportunity to take the dogs a little bit out of base camp and go camp on the ice and explore other areas within the Northwoods. This is a really cool opportunity where crews have just come back raving about their experience, because where else can you go make camp with your sled dog team? It's a pretty great time. Now, the final thing I kind of wanted to talk about before I let you all go is our off-peak pricing. So up here at Northern Tier, we do offer some standardized off-peak pricing throughout our season. So trips that occur during off-peak times are offered a 25% discount, which when you're looking at high adventure registration, that can be a pretty big chunk. But if you see here, you can see that on July 2nd through the 11th and after August 1st for the summer are those off-peak pricing with the 25% discount, along with January 22nd through February 12th and our winter season, along with February 19th through March 5th. Now, you don't need to memorize those dates. You can feel free to find them on our website again at ntier.org and on our registration site as well. And actually, we do have some great news. We have some remaining slots available for our holiday stay program coming up this coming winter. We're talking about 2026, but I know a few of y'all are still trying to figure out what maybe you and your scouts want to do over that good Christmas break from school. And if you still haven't decided, feel free to take a look at our remaining holiday stay slots. With our holiday stay programs up here, they are going to be a little bit longer with a 6-day length stay, but it is a great opportunity to spend that vacation time from school and get away from the rest of the world and just experience the true wilderness that Northern Tier has to offer.
New Year's party sounds fun. Fittingly, Outside Dog says be there in June and cannot wait. And Frontier Trails says thank you for this.
We're excited to have them up here in June. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, I think that, if you asked people just general, where's the best place to go paddling, canoeing in North America? Regardless, people would say the Boundary Waters, I think. And if you said, where's the best place to go winter camping, dog sledding, they would choose that area. What an incredible location you guys have up there. I'm glad to hear that it's warming up a little bit. Gina, I think he was talking to you when he talked about people from Texas.
I said
it wasn't me.
When we talk about Northern Tier, I know I have something to say about all of every high adventure base, whichever one I'm talking to, I think is my favorite at the moment. But I think just maybe a year or two ago, Aaron and I got to interview a troop that had done a canoe trek at Northern Tier. I don't think I've ever talked to scouts that just seem so changed and outgoing because of a trek. Like it really speaks to the grit and the character building and just the absolute life-changing memories that come out of a trip to Northern Tier. You've been there,
Absolutely.
right, Aaron?
Yeah, I've been to Northern Tier during the winter. So I experienced the winter trek, and it's like a lot of aspects of scouting. It's challenging. You might not think you can spend the night in an igloo and be comfortable, but you go to Northern Tier and you can. You might not think you can control a dog sled. You go to Northern Tier and you can. You might not think you can catch a fish by drilling through the ice. You go to Northern Tier and you can. So that's what's so great about it. Is there anything else we need to tell the folks at home before we let you go about Northern Tier? You've gone over your specials, great information there. Any final thoughts before we close it out?
Just one final parting thought is we are also starting to offer a very unique program with some ice spear fishing. So for anyone interested in that, feel free to check out our website or give us a call. We'd love to tell you a little bit more and give you a chance to do it this upcoming winter.
Spearfishing is very big right
cool
now.
is
That's
that,
pretty
Gina?
cool. Yeah, that's pretty. Thank you so much for making time to talk with us today. And yeah, I guess it's a beautiful day there. You're probably wearing shorts no, just kidding.
Getting close, not quite, but short sleeves, absolutely.
Very cool. Thanks for talking with us. I'm fired up on Northern Tier for sure. We're talking about these things, Aaron, and it's like, of course, like, why not go try these things? But like, how could you not consider giving your kids this experience? Not trying to put guilt on anybody. I realize there are all kinds of limitations on why people can't necessarily get out to a high adventure base, but why not give your kids the chance to do these things that they probably won't be able to do as adults unless they're going as an adult volunteer.
Right. And until they have kids who are in scouting, and then they get to go again, because there is a need for adults to go on these treks, right, and provide leadership there. But yeah, what a great learning opportunity. What a great growth opportunity. You know, Philmont, like the other high adventure bases, I don't think kids realize it at the time. All they know is they're having fun. But what they realize later when they look back is, oh my gosh, I learned so much. I learned how to cook a meal when it had rained and it was cold, and I learned how to do all these things. I had no idea I could do these things. So yeah, it's just an incredible experience. Great for kids, great for parents too, if you can go.
Yeah, totally. Oh, and 25% off at Northern Tier. That's it. That's definitely a huge discount. So gotta consider it. Well, thank you again. Thank you so much for talking with us and giving us a peek into what's on tap for Northern Tier, both this year and next.
Yeah, I really appreciate y'all having me tonight. Thank you.
Come back anytime.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron, this has been fun.
All of our guests who joined us from all 4 high adventure bases, as expected, you know, they did a great job.
Oh, Sabrina has
yes,
a perfect comment for us. Sorry. She said, I was nervous about the Northern Tier trip before watching this video, but now I feel excited about the trip. Can't wait for it. Thank you for the information. I can't reiterate that enough. Whether you're a scout or a leader and you have any fear, I mean, it's fun to have the nervous excitement, but get rid of it. You're going to be fine. Everything is mapped out for you to prepare you for this. I mean, follow the steps and prepare. You know, obviously we want you to be prepared, but you can do this. So many people have done this before you.
Right. And yeah, it's normal to feel a little bit nervous if you've ever done it before. I felt nervous before I went to any of the high adventure bases, right? But that's the great thing about scouting in general, and the great thing about these properties in specific and the programs they offer is that they set everyone up to succeed. You know, they give you the opportunity to learn, to grow. If you get in trouble, they are there. You know, there's qualified adult supervision at every activity. It's a wonderful experience. Yeah, and I think, Gina, the message from our show today, if you take one message away, it's that you can do it. You know, if your troop, crew, or ship doesn't make a habit of doing this, maybe now's the time to start that conversation. But like we said, I think there's opportunities at all 4 bases for scouts to go as individuals or to join up with another crew, right, on a trek.
If you're not taking advantage of this, you're missing out on an incredible opportunity that you're not going to have forever. You know,
this is one of those, like, you know, for members only, right? This is like, you know, scouts get to do this stuff that most people don't get to do. Quite frankly,
at most, your scout can take advantage of these things for 6 or 7 years. At most, that's not very long. Yes, they can come back as a leader. It's a very cool experience, but it's different.
Yep. Yeah, Gina, you kind of compared. I think you compared Philmont to the Pinewood Derby of scouting, right? And I would say that, you know, the whole high adventure program is kind of like that. When a Cub Scout first joins, they don't think they can build a Pinewood Derby car until we show them how, right? Until we do it together as a team with a parent. And that's the same thing here. They're probably, look at that. It's incredible. Like, you're probably, if you've never done that before, you're thinking, I don't know if I can do that.
Good analogy.
We're here to tell you that you can do it, and we will show you the way. And when you go to these high adventure bases, they tell you how to train, they tell you how to prepare, they advise you on how to fundraise, right? And all that stuff like that is all part of the experience.
They do have staff all year round whose job is to make sure you're able to do this. So you can do this.
Yes, absolutely. Gina, we could probably talk to each base for like an hour. We only had 10 or 12 minutes or so at each base instead. So go to the website if you have more questions, if you have more information. We mentioned earlier, Gina, when we're done here, this video will stay on Facebook for 30 days, YouTube forever. Share it with your friends. You can go back and watch it. We're talking about 2026 right now.
Yeah.
But if your kids are even younger, 2027, maybe that's when you go on a high adventure trek. 28, 29, yes. We'll be here. We'll be here.
Yes, let me be your personal AI for a second. So copy the link wherever you are watching this, paste it into, if you're watching on your phone, paste it into a text, paste it into an email if you're on your computer, get your unit and your, you know, 2 Deep Leadership and parents on that chat or on that thread and say, hey, which trek are we up for this in 2026? ? Send. Mm-hmm. Just see what happens. Just see.
I love the step-by-step instructions there. Definitely put a question mark and don't forget to hit send when you're done.
You know, the worst when you type up a text and you don't pay attention to your phone for a little bit, and it's gone and everything. So just do it right now. Also, tag somebody in the comments who you think would benefit from watching today's show. And most importantly, even if you've already written it off, you say no to 2026, go to scouting.org/national-high-adventure-bases/adventure-treks. Bookmark that website, stay in touch, keep updated. Tomorrow you might wake up and be like, feeling the call of the wild. I need to get up there in 2026. And there are some incredible, there's incentive pricing for some of these treks.
Yep. We mentioned all those details earlier in the video, but those are all spelled out on the respective websites. That's the main website you need to start with. And you can, from there, navigate to the websites of each 4 bases. Gina, hopefully folks have learned something if they didn't know already. Hopefully, if there's anybody out there who, Sabrina, perfect example, thought maybe she was a little bit nervous about Northern Tier. Guess what? You can do it. It's going to be awesome.
Be fine. Be sure to send us pictures, Sabrina. We can't wait. Everybody, there's so much more to find out about high adventure bases. We just talked about high adventure treks, which I'd say is the bread and butter of the bases for sure, but there's more out there. So be sure to explore. We'll be doing more live videos. Aaron, this has been great. You cannot keep this to an hour. I think we were thinking we were going to be 30 minutes. Here we are at an hour.
Would be impossible.
We could talk another hour.
We really could. Yeah. Go to the website, check out the information on each base, the 4 iconic locations that were not chosen by accident. Backpacking in New Mexico, canoeing in the Boundary Waters, scuba diving in the Florida Keys, whitewater rafting in the New River in West Virginia. I mean, what more could you ask for? Great job by you, Gina, to keep everybody going tonight. And thank you all for watching. We hope you learned something. We'll do it again soon. Stay tuned on all of our social media channels for more information about high adventure bases and everything else that Scouting America has to offer. So long, everybody. Gina, good job. Good night,
everybody.
Bye.